Alright YouTube, so I have some kind of heartbreaking news that you may or may not know about. You know, we've done a couple of Witcher related videos here recently, and looking into Witcher 4, of course, because of how much I liked Witcher 3, it turns out, according to CD Projekt Red themselves, Witcher 3 is the last Witcher game. Man, I wish this was like a clickbait video or some shit, but it's real. Like, multiple people from CD Projekt Red have stated that there is the potential that there will never be another Witcher game. And I can't handle this. Witcher 3 was my first experience of the Witcher series, and I need more, and if there isn't another one, I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life. While developer CD Projekt Red hasn't confirmed that there will ever be a Witcher 4, it certainly hasn't been ruled out completely. The team was particularly vocal around the launch of the Blood and Wine expansion in the first half of 2016. In an interview with Eurogamer in May 2016, CD Projekt Red co-founder Marcin Nowinski, probably butchering that, said the team didn't have anything planned when it came to the next Witcher game. As we said before, never say never, but right now it's really Blood and Wine. This is the end. Blood and Wine is the closing, and there won't be any Witcher anytime soon, if there ever will be one. But back in December 2015, CD Projekt Red CEO Adam Kaczynski, probably butchering that as well, seemed more definite that this is a series the developer would be reluctant to leave behind. It's too early to talk about it, but it's not like we're forgetting about this brand. It wouldn't be fair towards the fans, said Kaczynski to Polish TV station TVN24BIS. We've worked within this universe for over a dozen years now, and I don't think it's going to be the end of it. So back in 2016, we had the co-founder of CD Projekt Red saying that Blood and Wine was the end and that doesn't know if there will ever be another Witcher game or anything in the Witcher series. And then you have the CEO of CD Projekt Red in 2015 saying that they think that it's a series they'll come back to inevitably. But it's like, who do you believe in that situation? The fucking CEO of CD Projekt Red or the co-founder? But fast forward to 2017 and we have another interview with Marcin Nowinski that pretty much leans towards the fact that there will not be a Witcher 4. The Witcher was designed as a trilogy, and a trilogy cannot have a fourth part, can it? Said Marcin Nowinski. We like this world a lot. We invested 15 years of our lives in it and a lot of money, so we'll think about making a new Witcher game at some point. But please consider us as rational people. We sometimes have weird ideas, but overall our thinking is very rational. We have full rights to the Witcher games. They are ours. We have invested enormous funds into promoting it, and it's a very strong brand. Nowinski went on to say the Witcher series deserves some rest, or at least the team needs a change. For the past 10 years, the team has been working on swords and castles and medieval Slavic monsters, so I think it's time for some guns, androids, and some ammo. Now with that, of course, he's talking about Cyberpunk 2077, which is CD Projekt Red's next game, at least the one that we know about. It's the next major project. It's supposed to be, obviously, taking place in 2077. Sounds like a very cool and interesting game, but we're here to talk about the Witcher series. So it sounds like to me from some of these interview snippets that we have that maybe they're just kind of burnt out from doing the Witcher series. They've been doing it for so long, like I said, for like 10 or 15 years now. They've been set in this Witcher world, and they just kind of want to branch out and do something different. I guess that's what the Cyberpunk 2077 is. Has CD Projekt Red not made any other games except the Witcher games? Like, I don't know. Like, I could do a simple Google search, obviously, but like, if that's the only games they have made, then I could understand why they want to break from it. But at the very same time, there's people like in Rockstar who've been working on Grand Theft Auto since the beginning. There's people with Final Fantasy that have been there since the beginning, which was like, what, like the 80s or something? People have been around in developing the same series forever, and they innovate the series, you know, with both Grand Theft Auto and Final Fantasy. But all the same, like, 10 or 15 years on a series isn't really that long when you think about it. And the concept of the Witcher series meant to be a trilogy is something I didn't know going into Witcher 3. Obviously, I don't know if that's something that relates to like the books and novels or whatever. Anything outside of the video games, I have no idea, because they have the rights to the games, obviously. I don't know if they modeled them exactly after the books, but whatever the case, it's meant to be a trilogy according to the developers. And the way Witcher 3 ends, if you do, like, you know, once you finish, like, Blood and Wine, it does feel like Geralt's story is done, and maybe that's what they mean, like, the next Witcher may not be Geralt's story, and maybe it shouldn't be. A lot of people were satisfied with the conclusion. I don't think, I mean, he's a Witcher, he lives forever. He is pretty old, he's gray, he's not in as great a shape as he used to be. But he's still a Witcher. He's so strong as fuck. It's a video game world. It's a fantasy world. You don't have to be realistic. He could easily be in the next Witcher game. And there's people who have speculated that maybe if they were to do a Witcher 4 or whatever the next Witcher game would be called, that maybe we follow a different person, do an entirely new story. Maybe we could follow Ciri. The segments in Witcher 3 where you get to play as Ciri were actually pretty badass. Her other dimensional powers and be able to like warp around and stuff. That was really fun. So it'd be kind of cool to have a full game of her with her powers and things like that. But at the same time, if if the only thing that we've ever had in the Witcher series with the video games is Geralt, it would be kind of weird to change it up. And again, about the books, because I know nothing about them, I don't know if they have only ever followed Geralt. So, like, if they did, it would be kind of weird to switch up the games with somebody else as the lead person when the source material has only ever been Geralt. And if you look online, at least what I could find, there is 12 Witcher novels or books. I don't know what to call them, whatever you want to call them. It has all the games covered all of these books, because, like, was Witcher 3, like, the last book ever written? Because if not, there's plenty of ground to cover with another game. It's just a missed opportunity if they don't make another one. I can understand if they are burnt out, if they're hard games to make, especially Witcher 3, because it is a huge and vast game. There's so much to do. They covered... It's damn near a perfect game, in my opinion. So I can understand if it's a tedious game to make, and Witcher 4 would just have to be the same thing, but better, essentially. So I can see that it's a huge task to tackle. But, dude... Witcher 3 has literally cemented them with just that game alone as one of the best developers out there. And that's not to take away from Witcher 1 and 2. I just personally haven't played them. I didn't hear shit about them until Witcher 3, so I didn't even know they existed. But Witcher 3 by itself, as good as that game is, just kind of set the bar so high of how good of a developer they are. And it's such a missed opportunity for them not to continue it. Plus, Witcher 3 is one of the best-selling games ever because it sold, like, I want to say like 25 million copies. That puts them in, like, the top 20 spot, in the top 20 of best-selling games of all time. Like, it's crazy not to just capitalize on that. Even if it's a bitch to make and hard to develop, the goal of developing a video game, other than having a love and passion for it, is to make some goddamn money, and Witcher 4 would sell immensely. Witcher 3 is so popular that it sold more in Q1 of 2017 than it did in 2016. Not only that, but the revenue from the base game and its expansions has increased year over year despite the price dropping for both of those things. So even though as time went on the base game was dropping in price and so was the expansions, they were still making more money off the game year over year. So 2016, they made more money than 2015. 2017, they made more money than 2016. That's just a testament to how good of a developer CD Projekt Red is and how good this series is and how popular it is. The fact that 2 years later, the game is still selling just as well, if not more. It'd absolutely be a missed opportunity for them to never make a Witcher game again. I don't know if they will ever not make one again. It just seems so unlikely that they would not continue with at least a branch-off title. Even if we're not following Geralt of Rivia anymore, if we follow in some new character or maybe an established character we've seen before, either of those would be fine. I'd be okay with it. I just want Witcher to be a thing. Like they should never just stop making Witcher games. That just seems crazy to me. Witcher 3 was the first in the series for a lot of us. It was the most mainstream of all three titles, and it would just kind of suck for them to never continue it again. It's a good way to end it, don't get me wrong. Like I said before, it's a near perfect game in my opinion. But to think about the fact that there might not ever be another Witcher game is very heartbreaking to say the least. I want more of this world. As a fan, I want more games in this series. Witcher 3 is pretty much everything I've ever wanted in an RPG, and I want this world and this lore to be explored more, and I hope there is more one day. Anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts below, of course, on the possibility of there never being another Witcher game. That hurts to say. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, turn on notifications, follow me on Twitter at TheDashingDavid. Links to my social networks are in the description and in the outro. Later, guys. Give me forever for a while, give me forever for a while, quit acting like a baby.